Join me as I dive deep into my own mind and try to figure out why I'm anxious all the time. Anxiety is something that affects so many of us, and yet it's still often swept under the rug, hidden behind a mask of, "I'm fine," or "I'm just stressed." But the truth is, anxiety is a real and crippling condition that can affect every area of our lives. Living with chronic anxiety is like having a constant companion that you can't shake off. It's that nagging feeling of worry, that sense of unease that follows you everywhere you go, making even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. It's waking up in the middle of the night, your heart racing, your mind racing, wondering what's going to go wrong tomorrow. It's feeling like you're walking on eggshells, never knowing when the next panic attack is going to strike. It's exhausting, both mentally and physically. It's like having a never-ending to-do list in your head, where every task is screaming for your attention, and every single one of them feels like a matter of life and death. And on top of that, it's the constant fear of being judged, of being seen as weak, of being seen as flawed. It's the feeling of being a failure, of not being good enough, of not being capable enough. Living with chronic anxiety is like being trapped in a never-ending cycle of fear and self-doubt. It's like being stuck in a nightmare that you can't wake up from, where every day feels like a battle for survival. And the worst part is, it can be really hard to talk about because, let's face it, anxiety is still stigmatized in our society. So what contributes to this anxiety? Is it genetics? Is it environment? Is it lifestyle choices? The truth is, it's a combination of all three. Maybe you have a family history of anxiety, and it's just something that's in your DNA. Maybe you've had some traumatic experiences in the past, and they've left their mark on your psyche. Or maybe it's the way you're living your life, the constant pressure to perform, to produce, to succeed. I remember when I was in college, I used to pull all-nighters just to get my assignments done. I would drink cup after cup of coffee, just to stay awake, just to stay focused. And then, when the semester was over, I would crash, and I would sleep for days. It was like my body was screaming for a break, but I just couldn't listen. And that's when my anxiety started to get really bad. I would get these panic attacks in the middle of class, and I would have to rush out of the room, feeling like I was going to die. I would get these thoughts in my head. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? And I would just spiral out of control. It was a really dark time for me, and it took me a while to realize that I needed help. One thing that's really helped me is meditation. I know, it sounds like some woo-woo nonsense, but trust me, it works. It's not about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop. It's about taking a few minutes every day to focus on your breath, to focus on the present moment. It's about learning to quiet your mind, to learn to live with uncertainty. Another thing that's really helped me is therapy. I know it can be scary to talk to a stranger about your deepest fears and insecurities, but it's worth it. It's like having a guide who can help you navigate the darkest corners of your mind. And it's not about fixing you. It's about helping you develop the tools you need to cope with your anxiety. And finally, I've learned to prioritize my self-care. I've learned to say no to things that drain my energy, and yes, to things that nourish my soul. I've learned to take breaks when I need them, to take time off when I need it. I've learned to listen to my body, to listen to my mind. So, what can you take away from this video? Firstly, you're not alone. Anxiety is a common condition that affects millions of people around the world. Secondly, it's not your fault. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're flawed. It's because you're human, and humans are complex, messy creatures. And finally, there is hope. There are ways to manage your anxiety, to learn to live with it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've struggled with anxiety, please share your story in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about mental health, check out my video on depression. It's linked in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.